ahead and get started with some side steps. Nice tight abs. You're going to have your hips, knees, toes forward. It's really easy to want to turn those toes slightly out. So check your toes because they're slightly out like this with the little V. It's working more your quads and side hips, and we really want the side glutes. So it's really important to stay forward, working those thighs. Keep your abs nice and tight. And hips, knees, toes forward. Abs are tight, shoulders are down. Getting ready to do some marches. So tightening the abs, holding the torso still. Don't wiggle the hips. You're going to march the knees, and you're keeping the heels under the toes. I'm sorry, keeping the heels under the knees. So nice tall chest. And just keep those nice and forward. Nice, relaxed shoulders. You have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, we're going to do sidearm raises, hands to the side, feet are forward, knees are forward, hips forward, tight abs, tight butt, shoulders down. And we're going to do sidearm with your palms forward, relaxing your neck and shoulder. You're holding your abs so that your rib cage feels stable. And then the rib cage in the back is tucking the shoulder blade, holding the blade down as the arm comes up. The shoulder blade holds the arm down as the arm comes up. So this just stays down, and you feel the weight of your shoulder blade taking over. Relax the neck. Abs are tight. Pelvic floor engaged. Knees are soft. Don't forget to breathe. Two more to go. Last one. And roll those shoulders back. Roll those shoulders back. We're going to get ready for hamstring curls. So you're going to turn. I mean, you don't have to turn. You're going to watch the video. I'm going to turn. I'm going to shift my weight to my left foot. Right foot steps out. Kickstand it's called. Hip stays forward. And I'm going to lift the heel up. Tap the toe down. Heel up and down. And I'm just keeping my thigh nice and level. I'm not letting it go all over the place. Keeping the hip forward. And I'm just working this hamstring out, making it a little bit stronger. We have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And I'm gonna turn. You don't have to turn. You're gonna shift the weight to the right leg, soft knees, hips forward, kickstand the left leg, tight abs. You're gonna lift and tap, lift and tap. Relaxing the shoulders, abs nice and tight. You have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come on down. Okay, we're going to go ahead and do calf raises, hips, knees, toes forward, soft knees, tight pelvic floor, tight abs, shoulders down. Going to go up on the heels and come back down. Nice tight abs, tight butt. Lift up, hold it, and come on down. So now we're just going to take it up a little notch, and then we're going to go up on our heels. We're going to roll to the big joint, roll to the little joint, back to the center and down. We're going to go up, roll to the big joint, roll to the little joint, back to the center and down. Tight abs, tight butt. Going up, roll to the big joint, roll to the little joint, roll to the center and down. Can you feel how all those joints are like, what? Come on up, roll to the big joint, roll to the little joint, roll to the center and down. Just one more to go. Tight abs, tight butt. Up, roll to the big joint, roll to the little joint, roll to the center and down. March it out, march it out. Hope you like that little one. It just gets all those little bones that are on your foot. It's a little bit stronger, gets all those tendons stronger, creates better ankle stabilization. Okay, we're gonna work on front arm raises. If you wanna use weights, you may. You're gonna tuck your shoulders down, hips, knees, toes forward, tight abs. You're gonna raise the arms straight up, level with the rotator cuff, nice straight arms, and then come all the way down to the side. Tucking shoulder blades, raising it up. Lock the shoulder downs on the way down. Tight abs, tight butt, raise it up. And then control on the way down. Tuck shoulders, coming up. Control the blades. Don't let the arm roll forward. It's really tempting to want to roll the shoulder blades forward as we come down. Up and hold that chest up, hold that chest up. There you go. Hold the chest, relax the neck. It's almost like someone has a finger under your rib cage and is just holding that chest open. And then the last one right here, palms forward and roll the shoulders back. So we're working that side delt when we did the side arms, because you have 3 deltoids on your shoulders that helps move the leverage of your upper arm here. So we did the side one and we did the front one. We will be doing the back one in just a few moments. But right now, let's continue and let's get into the inner thigh toe tap. So nice tight abs, tucking those shoulders back, tight pelvic floor. You're gonna hold your arms like you are a little penguin. And then you're gonna bring the heel to the one hand and the heel to the other hand. So you're rotating inside your hip socket, and then you're pulling up that heel and setting it down, pulling up the heel and setting it down. So you're just going back and forth. You don't have to go fast. We're not river dancers, in which we'd have to go really fast. Right. So nice tight abs. And you're just thinking of your torso being nice and still. We're not leaning towards it. We don't want to twist our torso or tip our torso or bring our hands to it. I find if you just hold this still and you make the goal nice and clear to the body will eventually get higher and higher. So just working the whole rainbow of that hip socket. This is going to help with being able to put your ankle on your knee, to put socks on, to put shoes on, to clip your toenails, to give yourself foot massages, which of course I always am an advocate of foot massage. You have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, come march that out. We're going to work on the shin, working on our front calves, which are our shins, and our hip socket. So we're going to shift our weight to the left foot. Remember, when we shift weight, we don't just swing our hips into little angles. We just shift the whole weight so we remain in one angle working with gravity. Other foot is forward, soft knee on the standing leg. And we're going to tap the toe, tap the toe. Nice tight abs. Nice tight abs. Okay, so once you feel ready, we're going to lift the toe, but keep the heel on the ground, turn the whole thigh out, tap it down, lift the toe, turn the whole thigh in, tap it down. Lift, rotate, down. Remember, keeping that hip nice and still. So if I were looking at you from the waist up, I can't even tell that you're moving because we're just rotating inside the hip socket. I liken this to, if you ever played Barbies, Barbie had this strong torso here, but she had those crazy little hips. That's what we're working on, is a Barbie hip. And if you're a guy watching this, think Kendall. You have 3, 2, 1, and bring that foot in. Nice tight abs. Bring that foot in and nice tight abs, shifting the weight to the right. So shoulders down into the foot and then step the other foot forward and we're gonna tap. Nice abs are facing forward. And then we're gonna get ready. So we wanna make sure we're nice and forward. If you have it just barely forward, it digs into the hip. So you really want that spacer on that leg there. And then we're gonna tap and then getting ready to move the thighs. Lift, turn the whole thigh out, tap it down, lift, turn the whole thigh in, tap it down. Lift, thigh out, down, lift, thigh in, down. All while keeping the hip nice and forward so the hip doesn't move. One of the reasons we want to do this is not only making the hip bone stronger, the attachments of the pelvic and the femur head, but we're also creating a nervous system so that if ever we trip, we're not stuck to just the momentum what our torso does. We're going to also be able to maneuver our legs. You have 3, 2, 1, and come forward and march it out, march it out. If anything hurts or feels uncomfortable, always modify to your level. Never force anything. Not a big believer in that. You okay?
Yeah, just stretching.
Okay. Okay.
Stretch thighs.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Okay, so now I talked about, we did the side arm raises, the front arm raises. We got to do that rear delt one. And this one's always the hardest to do. If you've been trained by me before and you know you have a band at a door and you're just going to pull that band, keep that neck, shoulder, continue on that route. You know who you are. Otherwise, if not, we're going to go a different, easier route for ones that haven't done it before. The idea is you're keeping your arms and your elbows, so your wrist, your elbow, and your shoulders all stay the same plane. Tucking the shoulders down and you pull the elbow straight back. Do you see how it creates that 90 degrees? And then you go straight forward, parallel arms, tucking shoulders, pulling it back. Now this is the movement pattern. So once you know you can do this movement pattern with keeping the shoulders down and the head nice and forward, not pushing the neck forward, you know you physiologically can do this. The difference is this is not working the rear delt necessarily, just a tiny little percentage. We need it to isolate the rear delt. So we have to work against gravity. So immediately I have my feet together, I'm halfway off the chair. I'm going to bend down. I'm going to make my arms parallel to my shins. I'm going to tuck my shoulders down and I'm going to bring those elbows up 90 degrees with my fingers pointed down and right back to the shins. The problem with this exercise is once we turn down, our brain doesn't know how to work our rear delt and we don't stay out here nice and in line with the shins. Instead, we always end up coming out this way, and that's really not working your rear delts, it's working your lats. We need to really isolate this muscle, so it needs to stay here, tuck shoulders, and coming up. If you are looking straight at your big toes, you should be able to see your hands at the side. If they're too far down your thigh over here, you know you need to pull those elbows up while tucking down your shoulder blades. Okay. So shooting for 15 of those. If you can't, all you can do is 5, then only do 5. If all you can do is 3, then just do 3. If you can do the full 15, do the full 15. Whatever you do, keep that neck nice forward towards the floor. I'm sorry, your face, not your neck. Keep those elbows pulled straight out. Check every time that it's not coming down to your hips. You want to feel it right in your rear delts here. And you're just keeping your torso nice and still. Relax the neck, relax the shoulders. And hopefully you're counting your own at your own pace. Since this will be on YouTube, you find what number is yours. And you can pause it if I'm going too fast, or you can fast forward if I'm going too slow. I hit my 15 here. Nice tight abs. And I'm gonna come on up, I'm gonna roll those shoulders. Again, you do what is best for your body. Okay, so we did the front delt, the side delt, and the rear delt. That's a nice start of our shoulder capsule. We're gonna go ahead and stand up, and we're gonna work on our reverse lunges. So we're gonna, I'm gonna show you super easy and then a little more complicated, but only do what your body can handle. The idea is we're trying to train how to keep your knee over your ankle when you're hinging your hip. That way you're not bending the knee forward. Now there are times in which we need our knees to go forward, but we first need to get a good hip socket, a glute, and a hamstring and quads before we start playing around with all the knee stuff when people already have hurt knees. So we get the setup first so that the nervous system knows what to do. And later on, eventually we do need to do exercises where the knees go over the toes. So we butt our knees right up to a chair. So if I stand locked out and there's still space between my knees, I am still not up to the chair. I've got to scoot up until when I'm at my full stand, the chair is right butt up to me. I'm going to shift my weight to my left foot. I'm going to take a small step back, not a ridiculous step back, just a small step back. Make sure both my feet are facing forward. My hip is going to face forward. I'm going to hinge at my hips, just sticking my butt out as I bow forward just a little bit. My knees are staying attached to the chair. And if this is all I can do, I'm going to push through my front heel, squeeze my butt, bring my feet together. I'll step back, hip hinge, push through my front heel, squeeze the butt, and step together. I'll do one more example. I'm going to hip hinge, push through the front heel, squeeze my butt, step together. If you feel like that's too easy, then you can step back, hip hinge, curtsy to the king. So now I'm not bending forward anymore. Now I'm lowering my leg. I'm going to push through the front heel and squeeze and put my feet together. So it's just subtle because one is just a hinge and going straight back up. The other is once I hit the hinge, I don't bow forward anymore. I just lower myself, right? I'm not coming down closer to the chair. I'm staying up. I'm now just lowering myself on the front leg, not my back leg. It has no consequences of why it's there. And I push up and bring it up. So the goal is we're shooting for 10 of these. And if you've already been doing them, count your 10 and speed on up there. But you step back on the front heel. The back leg is up on, we don't really put our weight on the back leg. It's just there because we can't saw off our legs and then put them back on after our workout. So what we're trying to do is single leg squats is basically what we're training ourselves to do. Push through the front heel. Heels activate your butt. The balls of your feet activate the knees. So if you like knee problems, when you do this, you should push up on the front of your heel if you like to have hurt knees. But if you don't want hurt knees, you're going to push through your heels and activate your butt. And so I'm going to be at my 10, I think. Otherwise, I'm switching sides anyways. Okay, so now it's time to switch legs. I'm going to shift the weight over to the right. I'm going to step back, make sure the back toe is forward, but I don't put all my weight on it. I keep it all on that front leg. I'm going to hip hinge. So now I'm on my front heel and in my glute. I hinge until I feel my glute activate. And then either I can lower myself further and really get into that squat and then stand up using my front leg to push me through the heel. So I'm going to tap, push through the heels, come up. Step back, hinge, curtsy, push through the front heel, squeeze the butt at the top. Make sure you're not just coming to the top and then you're going, I'm calling that good. Finish the movement pattern. Step back, hip hinge, curtsy, push through the heels. And remember, if you can't do the curtsy yet, don't worry about it. Just hinge and then get right back to the stand. You first have to learn how to maneuver the nervous system before you can get to the curtsy. And don't depend on that back leg. Make the heel, make that butt cheek the stabilizing forces of this exercise. Your abs, your butt cheek, your heel. Those are the three that we want to work with today. Stepping back, hinge, squat, and push. And let's march it back, march it back. Your bum should be burning and not your knees. If a good squat, no matter how much knee injuries you have, a good squat does not hurt or damage the knee. Granted, some people who are super duper arthritic, where they have the swollen knee, all movement's gonna hurt them, but not in the sense a good squat will not exacerbate all those things. In fact, done well, it'll start to alleviate some of it. Okay, we're gonna do narrow presses. So if you have shoulder problems, you're gonna go no weights and you're just gonna practice tucking the shoulders and then bringing your arms up eye level here and then bringing it back down to your chest, going straight up, coming straight down. If you don't have shoulder problems, you're gonna tuck shoulder blades, you're gonna reach up to the sky with the big invisible ball and then back to the chest. And we're just keeping those elbows forward. We're keeping those palms facing each other, and we're just going straight up as if there's a wall in front of us that we're sliding up and down. We're not going out to the front. We're just going straight up. Feet are forward, tucking shoulders. Are your abs tight? Pelvic floor engaged? Knees are soft? Your standing is about 60% of your heels, 20% the small toe joint, 20% large toe joint. Last one. Up and on the way down and down. Roll those shoulders, roll those shoulders. It's really important to keep that shoulder and neck. When done correctly, you'll never feel it in the neck and shoulder. You got to learn the nervous system how to hold it in the shoulder blades. Okay, you guys are doing great. We're going to work on toe taps here. I'm going to get a chair. If you need to hold on to something else while the chair is in front of you, we're going to hips, knees, toes forward. We're going to tap the toe, switching the legs. Tap the toe, switch the legs. While we're doing that, we're going to keep the hip nice and level. So if you have to step back a little bit, feel free. We're trying to keep those toes nice and forward. And we're not going to swing the hip to get up. And we're not going to swing the hip to get up. So we don't want a forward swing or an upward swing. We want just nice level hips that they're not doing anything. And you're just putting the ball of the foot on. You're not putting the whole foot on today. That's another exercise when the hip flexors get stronger and stronger. You have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, march those out. Hopefully you felt it there. If you did not, next time you do this video, you are welcome to put a little bit of weight and tap it and tap it. But first time you do it, you should always do without the weights because it's this big old muscle with a thick tendon and we don't want to strain anything. Okay. Okay, here we go for our next one. We're going to do a bent over chair. It's an eye exercise, right? Picture if your arms were up, you're a capital I. I guess you could be a lowercase L. But anyways, this is what physical therapists have touted it. Therefore, I'm not a physical therapist, I'm just saying. Okay, I'm going to put my knee on the edge of the chair, my hand on the edge of the chair, my other standing leg is facing forward. I'm going to flatten my back, nose to the floor, tuck my shoulders. I'm going to have my arm straight down and I'm going to bring my arm up as high as possible. Actually, nice tight abs, come on up. So I'm going to switch sides because that's my port side and I just can't lift it as high, but I want to show this correctly. So here we go again. We're going to put the leg on the chair and the hand on the edge of the chair. Bottom foot is facing forward. Nose faces the floor. Palm faces the chair. Tuck shoulder blades. I'm going to keep that elbow straight and we're going to bring it up towards the side of our face or our ear. So either one of those we're working towards. We really shove the shoulder and the neck away from each other. And then we just try to lift our upper arm, keeping the arm straight, and then down. We just go up. And it's this tiny, tiny little move. There's this tiny little muscle attached to your shoulder blade and your rib cage, and it is in charge of the little motion to pull back here. And we're trying to train that one to take over. So go ahead and just start counting your 15, or when I stop, and just really try to find the bottom of that shoulder blade to lift up that arm. Don't get stuck in your neck. Your neck and shoulder want to take over, but that's not the one we're after. That's why this is a tiny little movement pattern, and it's very hard to get to, but you got to find it. Maybe with this class, we should do 10. So 10 we'll do today, and come on down, tight abs, and bring it up, roll that shoulder back. You should never feel it in your neck. It should be nice and relaxed, right? Versus up here, it would be pulled down and then bringing it back. It's such a tiny little move. Okay, hips forward, knees forward, toes forward, palm faces the chair, tuck shoulder blades. And I can't go as high as this one on this one because my port has locked in this arm and it pinches the nerve. But just follow along and pretend it's at my ear. And I'm trying to go at my ear and above my ear is my goal. But trying to find the shoulder blade to lift the arm, not the neck, not the shoulder. You're trying to find this muscle right in your back here, below your shoulder blade, attached to the rib cage. And just relax that neck and shoulder. Yeah, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring that arm down, tucking that shoulder, tight abs, tight butt, stand on up. How'd everybody do? Thumbs up, yay. Okay, so our next one, we're going to work on legs here. We're going to have our hips, knees, toes forward, and we're going to try to keep the hip forward through the whole movement pattern. We're going to come to the side. We're going to bring the knee up. We're going to bring it out a little bit, bring it in, and bring it down. Just a tiny little movement. What I want you to do, I want you to visualize bringing the knee up and keep the heel under the knee. You're going to come out just a tiny bit, come forward, and come down. It's very, very tiny. You're going to come up, come out just a little bit, keep that hip forward, bring it in, and bring it down. Make sure the other leg's nice and tight. The butt's cheeks holding you up on the other side, keeping that hip nice and forward. Don't swing your hip with you. I cannot tell you how tiny of a movement this is when done correctly. And it's this deep, deep hip muscle that's happening in the back. We're only going to do one more here. It's very tiny. This is all happening in the butt, what we're after. And come on down. So what happens is, I'll break it down, is when we lift up the leg, the hip flexor takes over. But because we're going to move that knee out, there's a muscle way deep in the femur head area that pulls that thigh out. And so we're deep into that muscle. And then when we're coming in, the inner thigh has to do it all while the hip flexor is stabilizing you. So it's a whole bunch of things happening deep in the hip. I don't recommend doing more than 7 in one day because it's really intense on all those ligaments and tendons. So shifting the weight, nice tight abs, bring the knee out, make sure the heel stays under the knee the whole time. And we're just doing 5, keeping the hip forward. I do not care how wide your hips go. I want that butt deep, deep, deep in there to get you, and come back down. Everyone's used to trying to go really wide, but look, the hip has to swing out. So then did the hip really go wide, or did you really just turn your torso out? So it's very tiny move, and the hip stays forward. This is my number 4, I believe. And then I got one more to go. so tiny, very consequential. We talk about as we age and we hear the horror stories of someone breaking their hips and the bum, 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 right? So we want to make sure that we keep our hip sockets nice and strong. Should we fall, no one has to worry about us. So that's the big plan. The picture is to prep us for our whole lives, not just for today. Okay, we're gonna have our arms straight up, shoulder height, or maybe a little bit collarbone height. Tuck the shoulders, and we're going to use our chest to squeeze the arms together and to squeeze the arms together. Then we're gonna use our shoulder blades to squeeze them back. We're gonna go chest, chest, squeeze the shoulder blades. 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 Last one, chest, chest, and squeeze the shoulder blades. Palms forward. And so what we're trying to do is we're trying to make sure the neck doesn't trigger, but our chest squeezes and our shoulder blades are doing all the squeezing, not our neck. Okay, let's go ahead, and we got one more exercise here, and then we get to go to the floor. You're gonna grab yourself a weight. You're gonna set that weight right next to your feet, or the side of your foot. You're gonna tighten those abs, keep that hip forward. You're gonna lift that thigh. You'll notice this rainbow theme we have on our hips today, because we need strong hips, and we want to actually we actually want to deal with them, because you're gonna need your hips your whole life here. And keep those hips forward. Lift the knee and step it out. Really bring the thigh up, bring the thigh up, bring the thigh up, bring the thigh up. Basically looking sideways, I keep my heel under my knee the whole time. I want my thighs strong enough to lift the weight of my thigh. I need the separation between my thigh bones coming apart from each other, versus what most people want to do is they want to stick their heels up behind it. And look, the thighs barely move. If your thighs are barely moving, are you getting your hip any stronger? The answer is no, you're not. So we want to challenge those hips to move, get some blood vessels in there, get some cartilage strong in there, break down some arthritic stuff. You have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're gonna go ahead and grab that weight. Tripping hazard, go set it to the side. And that is it. We get to go down to the floor now. So if you want to continue, find the floor exercises. That would be a Wednesday. Thank you.